It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Charles Osgood.
That's Ellen DeGeneres back when she had a series on network TV. Although she never fails to make it look easy, Ellen's rise to fame was anything but. Mo Rocca has our Sunday profile.
Here she is now, kicking off her 9th season, Ellen DeGeneres.
I love Ellen, I love her. Her energy, her dancing.
I think she's hilarious. Wow! Quirky. Amazing.
Funny. Fun.
What is your job when you step out onto the stage?
It is to make people happy.
It combines the sexiness of a librarian with the warmth of a lunch lady or something like that.
In a culture that's often mean, Ellen DeGeneres sees herself as a crusader of kindness.
Ow! Back at you!
Most comedy is based on getting a laugh at somebody else's expense, and I find that that's just a form of bullying in a major way. So I want to be an example that you can be funny and be kind and make people laugh without hurting somebody else's feelings. Everybody in the world has been here, and now you.
Okay, good.
See?
It's complete now.
Yeah.
DeGeneres knows hurt feelings, and she has a knack for spinning pain into comedy gold, beginning with the routine she developed when she was in her early 20s.
My girlfriend was killed in a car accident, and then I was just in the lowest place of my life, and this comedy came out of this moment of real searching, like I want to be able to pick up the phone and call God and get answers.
Yeah, hi, God. This is Ellen. Ellen. DeGeneres. DeGeneres.
She turned that phone call into a monologue, and 6 years later made history on The Tonight Show.
I get it. Yeah, listen, if you weren't too bit... Sure, hold on. Somebody's at the gate.
In those days, there was no bigger deal in comedy than having Johnny Carson call you over to the couch, and no female comic had ever been summoned.
I was so nervous that when it finished, I didn't look at Johnny, even though my goal was to be called over by him, obviously. And I looked at everybody but him, and finally I looked over, and he was like telling me to come sit down.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very clever and very fresh, and
Well, that's wonderful hearing that from you.
no, I mean it. It's good material.
Thank you.
How long you been doing this?
4 years.
Ellen DeGeneres had come a long way from Louisiana, where she grew up. Her parents were Christian Scientists. Many in that faith reject modern medical treatment. When you were a little girl, would you take aspirin if you needed it?
Oh, God, no. I didn't have a vaccination. I didn't have aspirin. I didn't have anything until I was like 14 years old, maybe. A chunk of wood got stuck in my foot, and my very first shot ever was about 15 shots to numb my foot so they could cut the piece of wood out. That was my first experience with a doctor, my first experience with a needle, with anything. I didn't have...
A tetanus shot?
Oh, never.
And did that sort of turn you off of it and say, look, this is extreme, or...?
Well, I didn't have that kind of say at that age. I still was living at home. I didn't join the circus till I was about 16. That's when I was on the road. My mother and father divorced, and when they divorced, I was with my mother, and then kind of we were not Christian Science anymore, and I took aspirin all the time. I was wild.
You became
I just drank Pepto-Bismol, and I was like, look at me.
But something else she learned at home would stick with her and propel her toward Hollywood.
When we were growing up, our parents somehow made it clear that being famous was good.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I mistakenly thought that if I was famous, then everyone would love me.
Peter, look at me.
By the mid-90s, she was famous with her own sitcom. The show was a hit, but she was unhappy.
I was saying, if anyone knew you were gay, they would hate you. And it was just this shame I was carrying around for so long that I just decided I didn't want to live with that voice in my head anymore.
I mean, what is wrong? Why do I have to be so ashamed? I mean,
so in her 4th season, she and her character decided it was time to come out of the closet. 42 million people tuned in.
Susan, I'm gay.
She was out, proud, and misquoted.
I never said, yep, I'm gay. That was a writer that decided to put that on the cover of Time magazine, and then I was like, okay.
I'm wondering who says yep.
The guy that came up with it. But clearly, he's very proud of himself. I mean, that became a big thing.
She laughs now, but at the time, she wasn't prepared for the backlash.
And if I'd opened a magazine, it was something mean about me. If I'd turn on the TV and watch a, talk show, it was somebody was making fun of me.
Her ratings slumped, and after one more season, her show was canceled. Her highly publicized relationship with actress Anne Heche fell apart. Ellen says she was alone and out of a job, and the phone wasn't ringing.
In the beginning, I thought, well, this can't last forever. I mean, yes, I lost that job, but there'll be another job. And then it slowly dawned on me, like, oh, nobody wants me. Nobody wants to work with me anymore.
I'm fascinated by animals. All of nature, really. All of nature fascinates me. You ever watch ants? You have that kind of time like me?
So she went back to stand-up, but things had changed.
The only people that came to see me when I toured were gay people. I think straight people were scared to go because, they just thought, well, I'm not going to understand any of it. It's all going to be in gay talk. And so, I
think it's gays.
Oh, okay. I don't know the phraseology of the gayness.
They can't take away our creativity, our striving for excellence, our joy. Only network executives can do that.
What helped her break through again to a mass audience was hosting the Emmy Awards just after 9/11. On treacherous comedic ground, she had just the right light touch.
Because think about it. What would bug the Taliban more than seeing a gay woman in a suit surrounded by Jews?
That joke, when it landed and the applause was so sustained, how did that feel?
It was like playing golf and hitting a sweet spot on a ball.
It's September 8th. This is our very, very first show, and you are my very first audience.
DeGeneres was back, and since then, it's seemed like the Ellen era. By 2003, she was on the small screen with her talk show.
Relax. Take a deep breath.
And the big screen as Dory in Finding Nemo.
Don't worry. Whales don't eat clownfish. They eat krill. Oh, look, krill.
Does this side look heavy to you?
She became the face of American Express and CoverGirl.
Are you scared of animals?
No, I love animals.
Okay. That's good, because there's plenty in here.
Yeah.
And she met actress Portia de Rossi. Together, they're one of the most famous gay couples in the world.
Look at that face.
Oh my gosh, he looks a little like Phyllis Diller. I don't mean that in a mean way. Sorry.
Yes.
A favorite cause of theirs? The Gentle Barn, a sanctuary for abused animals.
So this is Willy Wonka.
Hi, Willy Wonka.
What a difference in that horse, huh?
This makes you really happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
De Rossi says that DeGeneres has taught her about self-acceptance.
She seems to like the person that I really am, so that kind of gave me the courage to think that maybe other people will too, and that includes being gay and being very open about it and having had some struggles in the past. I think
De Rossi's struggles have included a serious eating disorder.
You've talked about at one point being 82 pounds and then going up to
168.
and that's when you met Ellen. And,
yes,
and that was significant because
well, significant because I instantly adored her, but I was very closeted and very heavy, and I thought that no one would ever love me if they knew I was gay, and especially if they saw that I was fat. So the fact that she noticed me at that point and liked who I was kind of significant. Yeah, it was great.
What did you see when you saw her?
A really fat girl. She was fat. I mean, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, wow, she's fat. Let me talk to her. Let me see if she has a good personality. And then I liked her.
DeGeneres came around. They were married 3 years ago when same-sex marriage was briefly legal in California. De Rossi is featured prominently in a new book by DeGeneres, mostly humorous essays mixed with a little self-analysis.
You say in the book that you don't want to be labeled as a gay talk show host. Do you feel like you've gotten beyond that.
I think so. I think that's not, I don't think it's the first adjective people think about when they think about me. I think, you know, almost my dancing has overtaken the gayness. I think it's going to be dancing talk show host, you know, who's gay.
Right now, DeGeneres has a golden opportunity to introduce herself to a larger audience. Now that the reigning queen of daytime, Oprah, has stepped down.
There are all these Oprah audience members wandering around. How do you scoop them up?
Like the Walking Dead. Where's Oprah? Just walking around the streets. We want our stuff.
And so we had just one final question.
Can I ask you, are you the next Oprah?
Yes.